productive, peaceful, peace-loving images. You have the image of oyster. You have the image of mushroom on the mount. You have the image of drop of sweat, dawned fresh, playing on the child's son's brow. The oyster labors forth a pearl. So these are the results, outcome, freshness, new life, new expectations after the spiritual growth in purity, right? And fragrant blossoms that smile, talks of flower, a garden comes before your imagination. So olfactory, smell image is also there. So both pessimistic and optimistic waves presented through the images. Okay, बहुत जरूरी है कि images को, symbols को particularly 12th class में आप बच्चे समझें. That's why कि इन्हीं चीजों के थ्रू जब stanza आपको reference to the context के लिए पूछा जाता है, तो you need to crack these images. This is the explanation that you need to provide to get marks. Okay, that's why कि हम इतने खुलकर इन images पे, इन symbols पे बात कर रहे हैं. Then we have some poetic devices in this. For example, metaphor is there. Thread of fancies, wild shadows of my mind, helpless ashes, right? Helpless ashes, I say, as if it stands from some human being because human quality is given. Wild shadows of mind, so किसी shadow को वो दिमाग के अंदर उठते हुए ख्यालात के लिए इस्तेमाल किया गया है. थ्रेड ऑफ फैंसीज तो वो धागा हो गया, कंटिन्यूटी ऑफ थॉट को थ्रेड ऑफ फैंसीज कहा गया है. सो सिमिलरली जैसे लाइक ए मोनस्ट्रक मैन, अ मैन इन हिस्टेरिक्स, ए क्रेजी मैन, तो ये एक और पोएटिक डिवाइस है. देन आई जस्ट सेड टोल्ड यू कि पर्सोनिफिकेशन यूज हुई है. एश किस माय फीट, जैसे ह्यूमन क्वालिटी, इंसानी क्वालिटी दिया गया है एशेस को. ड्रॉप ऑफ स्वेट प्लेइंग ऑन हिज ब्राउ, तो एक स्वेट के उस ड्रॉप को, कतरे को, एक प्लेइंग, अगेन a human quality given to it. Then we have some musical devices that create music, sound devices in this. For example, alliteration, the same old fashion, smoldered the blood. So sir and so sound in this line, the and the right sound is there. Assonance in the next one of the lines, my lips whispering window. So in lips we have E sound, whispering again we have E sound, window we have the E sound. 3 times the E sound, short E sound, short vowel sound is repeated here of A, right? Gives a musical quality. Then the run-on lines. Thoughts don't conclude in single lines. They move from one line to another. This is also known as one of the poetic devices. For example, enjambment. There's a line, there are many lines. I'm giving example of one. With the cool of the marrow, with the cool of the winter in the marrow of my breast. So one line runs, moves to next. Then we have consonance is also there, where you have those consonant sounds. They are repeated in lines, but they are irregular. Maybe the particular sound is in the beginning of a word, in the next word it's at the end, in the next word it's in the middle, and that also creates a kind of music, right? Here, cited, deep, incited, we have do sound at the end, and in deep it is in the beginning, right? Now, these were some of the literary devices where we talked about symbols, imagery, then metaphor, of course, then simile, right? Then alliteration, assonance, consonance, personification, okay, enjambment. Then, finally, connotative interpretation. And in connotative interpretation, the poem talks about destruction. General, हम इसका व्यू लेंगे. It talks about violence, despair, and finally hope. The poet begins with his imagination, running out while what I said in the beginning, wherein an eagle is there. The eagle symbolizes the powerful section of people, the class of people in the society who are mighty, and where we say might is right, is a force. It can be a nation, and that's dominating in nature. You can say they are violent, and because of them, we see violence. Okay? Contrary to that, we have another class of people there in the form of dove. They symbolize the powerless, they symbolize the voiceless, they symbolize the weak, they symbolize the innocent class of people. So this is the class division. And then when we go ahead and try to understand the underlying, interpret the poem on this very front, you see there is an environment of fear and violence created in the poem, and that is the dominating force, perhaps ruling the first two stanzas of the poem, right? This violence is, this destruction is on rampage, as you see eagle and then the feathers around on the hilltops. So the atmosphere is gory, where we see the burnt skin, the feathers all scattered around. So a very, very pathetic kind of scenario is being projected. So we can say that the innocent people are suffering in the hands of oppressors. It's an era of the continuous disorder, and the gap between the oppressor, where chasm is being mentioned, between the oppressor and the oppressor is widening. That means जुल्म की हदें बढ़ती ही जा रही हैं, कहीं दिखता नहीं है कि it will come to any conclusion. The poet is scared in the middle of this turbulence and is pushed to the wall. The noise and whispering of this disorder is coming to him along with the snowflakes fling in the crevices, right? यह माहौल बाहर का. तो अब अंदर में क्या है? The mouse represents weak and quiet people, जैसे कि आप लोग, there's a mention of mouse who are hiding for their life as a cat is watching on the hanger as if it's a predator to pounce upon the prey. तो ये अंदर की हालत है कि बड़ा डर का माहौल है, पकड़म पकड़ी का माहौल है, कैच एंड किल वाला कुछ नजर आ रहा है, सारा कुछ. कैट इज देयर, माउस इज देयर फॉर इट्स लाइफ. सो तो ऐसे दिखता है कि पहले दो स्टेजेस में द एनवायरनमेंट इज एक्सट्रीमली फेयरफुल एंड एक्सक्रूशिएटिंग, राइट. उसके साथ ही कांगड़ी जो मेंशन की गई है, नो डाउट के विंटर का थोड़ा सा कॉन्सेप्ट है. गर्मी के लिए कांगड़ी हम रखते हैं बिस्तर में, तो वो हमें तो गर्मी देती है. बट हियर जब ऐसी एक थॉट चली आ रही है वहां पे, जहां पे आपको क्योस, कंफ्यूजन, फेयर, डेथ, डिस्ट्रक्शन, टॉर्मेंट, ये सब कुछ दिखाई दे रहा है, तो कांगड़ी can represent a kind of comfort that is provided by some kind of support, some kind of life support system, a kind of ventilator for us that gives us in this terrible and turbulence something that gives us support. That's not there, and then you see when it shakes and shakes and ashes. What's that? They kiss your feet. So यहाँ पे आप बड़ा जबरदस्त ये ashes can be also considered as some kind of people. I can symbolically I assume, I conclude that they kiss means they show a kind of support. They show that they say that we were there to give you comfort, but they are worthless, they are useless, they are good for nothing. Ashes. So whether they are there or not, whether the Congress is there or not, it hardly matters, because it doesn't do what it stands for, because such is the condition. Perhaps it is that force, its strength has been has diminished, has vanished because of the external dominating forces, right? So everything has lost almost its worth. There's nothing that's going to help you in this very difficult situation. So humanity is completely, it assumes, it appears, that humanity is completely shrouded in despair. So it looks like that we are at a point where there is no return and no possible refuge. At this highest degree of chaos and fear, the owl beats the last trumpet, और इस हालत में लास्ट में जब ओवल फिर वो हूट करे, तो that is very very simple कि we can calculate that it's the declaration of misfortune. It's the declaration of total death coming to the way. It is evil omen for the future generations to come perhaps. So poet wants to scream, ये सारा देख के poet wants to scream after witnessing all this horror, but his heart is too weak to allow him to express his pain. तो दिल साथ नहीं देता है poet की जबान को, और poet एक्सप्रेस भी नहीं कर पाता कि मेरे अंदर की हालत क्या है. तो ये सारा कुछ कनोटेटिव अंदाज में आप समझ सकते हैं कि ये है ऐसे माहौल में जहां पे इतना डर खौफ है, तो इसमें पोइट बात भी नहीं कर पाते. तो वो इस प्रिवेलिंग सिचुएशन को बोलते कि मेरे साथ क्या गुजर रही है. तो ही इज नॉट एबल टू डू दैट, राइट. बट ये सब कुछ होने के बाद there's a U-turn, and when we enter into the last stanza of this poem, एक ठंडी हवा चलती है. There's a cool breeze, मैंने इसको connotatively लिया है, and we find some words of balm on the wounds. कुछ ऐसे अल्फाज नजर आते हैं जो लगता है कि जख्मों पे मरहम पट्टी जैसी हो रही है. जो inflicted pain वो subside होती हुई नजर आती है. The poet introduces his son. But it's the paradigm shift from the elderly people to those infants, the new upcoming posterity. The posterity, बच्चों में अब, the poet when introduces the posterity and says that symbolizes hope, vigor, bright tomorrow. ऐसा फील होता है कि इस डार्कनेस के बाद एक नई सुबह होने वाली है. The poet sees the new generation to learn from their elders. The first part of the tale is सारा कुछ एक एक्सपीरियंस की तरह ऐसा दिखता है कि बच्चे के सामने रहेगा कि ऐसी जिंदगी हमारे जो आबा व अजदा थे उनकी गुजरी है. सो उस रेजर ग्राउंड पे, उस तबाहशुदा इमारत पे अब बच्चे आकर एक नई लाइफ की तामीर करने जा रहे हैं, वर्क हार्ड कर रहे हैं. इन द फॉर्म ऑफ oyster we see honesty there in these young minds, we see compassion in their eyes, and we see justice, and all these three things go together to help them to construct a bright future where we see redemption of the human race. So the tough challenges, struggles, and the pain ultimately results in the form of a pearl by the oyster, and pearl here can be said that is the great result of this compassion and hard work. Right? So it's expected that this dedication, devotion, commitment is going to make the new world order, where we will see peace, where there will be comfort, where there is seeing the prosperity, and there are no tyrants around. तो एक जालिमों का दौर खत्म होने वाला है. सुकून, अमन, शांति, खुशहाली, आराम आने वाला है इंशाअल्लाह. So you can take the example of pandemic corona, this COVID-19. We are in distress and I hope अल्लाह से आप भी मांगिए, हम भी मांगते हैं कि ये एक वैनिश हो जाए और एक नई सुबह हो जाए जहाँ पे फिर वही खेल कूद, अमन सुकून और एक नॉर्मल जिंदगी हो. This all is evident in the sweep of the sun, where the poet sees blooming blossoms, mushroom, and the pearl produced by the oyster. Right? Now, if you go to the theme of this very poem, I think the theme is best explained by Holy Quran, where we read in chapter 94, verse 5 and 6 reads like this: For innamal usri yusra, innamal usri yusra. So verily with the hardship there is relief. So verily with the hardship there is relief. Right? So good times, bad times are the part of this life. Yeah? We all experience internal and external struggles. And most of the times, under such circumstances, we don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, but this beautiful verse of Holy Quran guides us and gives us inspiration that after this hardship, we will see some relief. So, this poem is written in first-person narrative, and the tone is hopeless in the beginning, but very, very positive and hopeful at the end. Right? तो आपसे एक दो क्वेश्चंस पूछूंगा. डिस्कस द थीम ऑफ द पोएम इन लाइट ऑफ द प्रोवर्ब एवरी क्लाउड हैज अ सिल्वर लाइनिंग. इस पे बात ये आप कोशिश कीजिए करने की. हाउ हैज द सन बीन डिस्क्राइब्ड इन द पोएम? इवन मैं ये भी कह सकता हूँ, compare and contrast between the son and the father in the poem. So perchance he was dreaming the rest of the tale, perchance the oyster had labored forth a pearl. तो ये लाइन्स है, बाय रेफरेंस टू द कॉन्टेक्स्ट विद एक्सप्लेनेशन लिखिए, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. ये 2-3 क्वेश्चंस अपने टीचर्स को साथ लेकर ट्राई कीजिए ताकि आप अच्छे से ये पोएम को देखिए, हम क्या अंडरस्टैंड कर पाए हैं. So thank you very much. Wish you all the good luck.